Hey guys, welcome back to Micho Makes. My name is Micho. I like to make stuff. Today we've got part number 46 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. This is the 1/8 scale massive model that we're building together. Without further ado, let's just jump right into this one. Alright, starting out, we have our cover here. Got our favorite frames. We've got, oh, it looks like we have a replacement part here. And, yeah, let's take a look at the parts here in just a second. And an explanation too as well. We'll take a look at that. And our booklet. Let's actually take a look at the book first. So we're talking about the AE111. This is the successor to the AE86. I believe these came out in around actually right after the AE86. So after AE86 went from 84 to 88, I believe. So this came around 89 or so. 88, 89. Let's take a look here. We're about right. Oh, actually, this is a little bit later than that, so you can see 1995. There. And I am not too sure if that was all in focus for that unboxing, so let's just double check and make sure that we are in focus for you guys. Cool. So if we look at the timeline that we had here, this one actually came out in 1995 right there. You can see it right there. Yeah, and I guess, I'm sorry, not 88. 87 was the last year of the AE86. Then they had the AE101, AE100 here in 91. About came back in then 1995. So the difference between these two, and I've explained this before, is that these had the blue top 4 AGEs in there. These AE101s or AE100s had the silver top 5 valves per cylinder instead of 4 valves per cylinder. And the black top they made, which is in the AE111s, that actually had made even more improvements to the engines themselves, and had the black top, which again, the differences in the silver top and black top, I'm not super familiar with the really big differences between the two engines. But I know that both the silver and the black top had 5 valves per cylinder. So we'll go ahead and take this back to here so you can read it. Pause the video and read it if you'd like. Use Google Translate if that's easier too. And then we'll take a look at the other page so you can pause and view it. There are probably other resources online that you can see the really in-depth history of these cars. But to be honest with you, from what I've been seeing from this whole kind of timeline and rival series, and really kind of breaking down each iteration, how the AE86 came about, this seems to be almost more comprehensive than what you actually get like dedicated AE86 books. You know, this has 110 volumes of pages of information, really distilled down. So it's not really like, you know, super condensed, but very, very involved. Okay, so for this part, let's take a peek on the instructions. We've got a few more hoses, it looks like we're cutting up. And it looks like we're doing some more maybe firewall work right there too as well. Oh, it's a battery. I totally didn't realize that. It's a battery that we're making today. That's pretty cool. Oh, and then it looks like the, what do you call that? Gosh, I know what that is. It's like almost like a spark distributor, but this connects to the distributor right here. And then we've got some more panel pieces. Got those all finished up there. It looks like we're running some more lines here. Power steering line looks like. Connected some stuff. Again, getting the battery all situated too as well. Getting that situated. Getting that connected. And it looks like I have no. This might be the window washer fluid reservoir right there. I believe it sure looks like it. Cool. So let's take a look at this, and give me a second while I translate this so that you have a better sense of what this actually is. There's replacement part. Oh, it looks like maybe these don't fit very well, and that's why. I don't know. I'm gonna take a look and see. Be back in just a second. Okay, so they never really explain why they're making this kind of shift. I don't know if it's a color thing or what, but they have the pieces in here. The charcoal canister, which is this part, 37G, they say don't even assemble this one until part number 49. And this kind of coolant reservoir, it's not a coolant reservoir though. This reservoir here, I don't know. Let me pull the model real quick, and we'll take a peek at the differences because I don't really see any massive difference in that part. Give me a second. Okay, I've got the part in question right here, and I don't really see any massive differences here. Let me grab the new one that they suggest that we should use, but I just don't see where there is a significant difference, like the coloring or the fitment. It looks exactly the same to me. And maybe I'll just pull it off and take a look. It might be these pegs here. Maybe it doesn't like fit as well. Let's see here. It's the best way to try to remove this without screwing up everything, because this is just, I believe, pushed on here. There we go. Okay, there it is, removed. Let's take a look. I don't know if people were complaining about it being too hard to install or loose. Oh, well, maybe it looks thicker. Oh, sorry, it's not focused. Hold on. Is that thicker? It looks exactly the same. You know, I have this off now. I might as well just replace it. Let's take a look. I really don't see a difference. This peg does look a little bit thinner on the new one. This is the new one right here. It does look a little bit thinner. Maybe it's easier to get on because they maybe reshaped the peg. It looks like a little bit instead of round. It's got that indentation, so maybe it'll be easier to install, I'm assuming, because yeah, it looks like I did have to push this on pretty good. So maybe that's the reason why. We'll go ahead and change it out just because it's off here already. So just screw in this real quick. Where we used to screw. It's a new one. Okay, it's installed. Go and focus back on that part over there. And then just install it. Because I remember I did have to kind of push this on pretty hard. Actually, this is backwards. I think it's this way. Yeah, maybe it's just supposed to sit a little bit better that way. Oh, yeah. Actually, maybe, yeah. That seems flush now. So maybe it was just this peg at the bottom here. That was the kind of culprit and why people were like, this isn't working very well. So we're glad we replaced it. Again, this charcoal canister they have here I guess we're replacing in part number 49, so we'll just put that in a little storage bin there and get this kind of out the way. Let's go ahead and take a look at our parts first. So give me a second while I get it set up. All right, let's take a look at our parts here. We'll go ahead and start with probably the main piece that we're going to be really looking at today, which is the battery top. Let's take a look at that detail on there, because these sticker details are so bananas. Okay, I'm going to zoom in more so you can actually see the crazy detail in these. Look at that. I can't even read that personally, but how fine they got that printed on there, on just as the battery, the top of the battery. Wow, that's so cool. All right, let's check out the next thing. Looks like we got the battery tray. This looks like it would be on the body itself. I'm not too sure what part of this. What part is that? Looks like a piece of the body here too, and this is metal. Got a piece here, and I know this goes in the engine bay, and there actually is writing detail on this. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this one too. I don't think, is this the voltage regulator or something? But you can see the writing detail on there. Wow, super cool. Fuse box cover, it looks like. I'm glad we're getting a lot of the detail work stuff here. Look at that. See if I can get even closer, get it bigger so you guys can even see it. Super cool detail. It's like the bottom of the fuse box right here. Go ahead and zoom out. This looks like the battery hold down. It's going to hold the battery to the vehicle itself. Reservoir cap. This looks, I believe this is the washer fluid reservoir cap. We've got looks like a battery terminal here. These two pieces here. This might be actually not. This is not fuses, I believe. This is part of the battery terminal. Another piece of the battery terminal, I believe. Looks like the body of the battery itself. Obviously, no acid or anything or lead in this. I believe this is another part of the washer fluid container, as well as this. And these are both plastic, unlike that other white piece which was part of the body. We've got another piece of hose here. And for our screws, we've got CM, AM, and AP. And that looks like it for this part. All right, so let's get all this set up and get to building some parts. Okay, first things first, they want us to cut this tube into 35 millimeter piece. So we'll go ahead and just get that measured out real quick and make this quick cut right here. 35, right about there. There we go. That's that piece. All right, next. All right, next step is actually getting these terminals on the battery top here. So these are actually keyed pretty nicely right there. And we just place this one right inside here. push that in. And then this piece, very small, goes on this side over here. And luckily for me, this one is so small, it's actually a little bit hard to key correctly. So they are keyed in such a way that they're kind of like a half moon at the bottom, and a lot easier to try to figure out what direction this is going to go. So that one goes right here. Good. And that's the terminals for the battery. Next, we're going to be taking the battery box here, and we're going to be placing this on top. Let me just figure out the orientation that they have here for us so that I do not get it incorrect, because there is a notch here that I do want to make sure that I get correctly. Okay, so it looks like this way they have it, and we're going to be... Okay, so if you look at the bottom, they have it bottom picture here. So there's the bottom here, and then this is at the top right here. So it just looks like that. Just like that. That's what it looks like in the picture. We're good. And then we're going to be using some AP screws. So let me grab some. Okay, great. Now we grab our battery tray here, and we're going to be placing it just... It's kind of hard. You can't screw it up really. Is there two pieces here, and they're keyed a certain way just to make sure that it fits properly. So, did I screw it up? I did screw it up, didn't I? Yeah, I did screw it up. Yeah, you can't screw it up, but you totally screwed it up. So you can see the orientation there. Got those there. Right, and then there's AP screws here too as well. Awesome. And what I thought was the tie down is actually a the battery strap at the very top, so it's not a tie down. So all you gotta do is just place this guy right on top here, right there. Sure looks like a battery to me. All right, so we're gonna put this to the side now, and we're gonna do the fuse box here. So it looks like we just need to match up these two sides. Again, it's kind of self-explanatory. The fuse box at the top, and then we're going to put one screw at the bottom, and it looks like an AP screw as well. So we'll grab an AP screw. And there is our fuse box. And what I thought, I couldn't remember what it was. It's actually the ignition coil. Duh. So here is the bottom of the coil. Then we've got these two red pieces here. And they are going to be just placed inside here. And obviously this side goes in this one. And this one goes into this one. I just want to double check and make sure I'm putting these in correctly. Sure looks like it. Make sure this gets pushed down all the way. And this one gets pushed inside here. Now, let's see here. There is a direction for this. I'm seeing the instructions. But it looks like we have a little keyway there too. So I don't know if it doesn't look like there's anything in the hole here though. So I'm not too sure. There's supposed to be an orientation for this. Or what? Yeah. It looks like it's preventing it from being flush. I don't know if that is a manufacturer's error. I'm going to look at the instructions real quick and see. Okay, had to do a little surgery because I actually inserted the little prong into the wrong hole and broke off the stem there. It broke off inside the other side and actually just glued it on. You see cement glued it on, got it on proper, and then you actually do put it on the side here. So ignition coil is kind of funky, but whatever, right? It's my model. I don't care. And it seems to be holding well. So once it gets mounted, maybe get the line put on there too to the distributor. Not that big of a deal. Yeah, it feels pretty solid actually already, and it just glued it, so we should be good on that one. All right, next part here is we're going to be inserting the cap to the bottle here. Find that piece right quick. Okay, next part is actually we're going to be building out the reservoir here. So there's a little keyway. You need to put this in this guy right here. Just like that. And then looks like we're going to be putting an AP screw and to secure this down. Just grab a screw here. All right, cap is secured. And next part. Sorry about that, I had to flip the page, but really it's the same piece, and all we're doing is we're attaching this part at the bottom, just like so. Fits in really good, just like that. And we take a couple more AP screws. Okay, now we've got all of our pieces made for inside the engine bay. Again, the water reservoir here, battery, ignition coil, as well as the fuse box. Let's go ahead and move on to the next part. Okay, a little strange part right now is that we're going to actually be installing this little bracket, and it actually goes right under here in this little area right here. So that requires us removing these 3 cm screws on the chassis down here. So just these 3 screws that are holding this side piece in, and then we're going to be replacing them obviously after we're done. It's a really bad view, sorry guys. Okay, I'm actually just gonna leave those in if I can. So it's got loose right now. See if I can get a better angle for you to see what we're doing. But we're just lifting this up a little bit and inserting this here, right here, I believe. Not too sure how. Let me double check the instructions real quick. Okay, so what they basically want us to do is take another CM screw and screw this in from the bottom. So they give us 2 here, 1 extra per usual. And we're going to be screwing this in just like here, in the bottom, right, just like that. See that? So I'm going to have to, unfortunately, lift this up and screw this one in. All right, looks like I got it secured. Didn't really do anything. Maybe it looks like it kind of added on a bracket of some sort right there. Take a look at that. Just a little piece. No, I have no idea. We're just going to follow the instructions. So after that, we just take our screws that we have down here and retighten them. Oh, it just finally came out, all right. Retighten the ones that we had loosened right here. Alright, got that installed, and we're done with this piece, so we'll take a look at what's next. Okay, next part is we're taking that 35mm piece of hose that we had, and we're actually attaching it to the side of the battery terminal right there. Again, that's like, oh yeah, that actually fits pretty nice right there. Good to go. And then we're going to be inserting the battery in its battery tray. Got it right here. Got a couple pieces right there. See if we can make sure you guys can actually see that. Yep, right there in the corner. And looks like we're going to be using AM screws to just kind of hold that down. Grab these screws real quick. I'm trying to get the best angle so you guys can see, but unfortunately my desk isn't super big, so I'll do my best to make sure you guys can all see. Let me at least center it for you. Alright, battery is installed. Then we actually take this terminal right here. This is the negative terminal, and we just jam it right through this hole. There's a hole in the side of the fender part right here. Just jam it in. Looks like it's connected to a ground now. I put the hose, the negative battery terminal, in the wrong hole. There's another hole below these two that this actually feeds into, right down here. This one right there. Right to that one. And then we've got our fuse box here, and it's actually going to go right here against the fender. Problem is it's really hard for me to show you me installing that, just because it is in a very awkward spot. Alright, fuse box installed. Next, we're going to take our repaired ignition coil and install it right here on the chassis. So, this little piece here, let's go just like this. I'm going to grab an AM screw. Piece is going to go just like this. Side here, and it's screwed on. I'm trying not to touch this point because, well, it looks like it fused pretty well. Still don't want to break it off though. Alright, ignition coil's installed. Looks good. And it's pretty solid too as well. That's nice. Okay, next part is actually we're attaching the cable from the alternator, which is down here. Maybe hard for you to see, right there, down there, to the battery. And I have to admit, that little piece that actually had the cable from the alternator broke off. Actually, I tried gluing it in and it just didn't want to stay. So that actually just kind of got nixed. So in the meantime, I'm just going to grab just a piece of just spare hose and just kind of have it disappear into engine bay. It's going to connect to the battery. We're just going to make it look like it's connected to the battery somewhere, right? Stick it on. This is just a spare piece of hose, and it'll just imagine it goes down to the alternator. Whatever, right? It's my model. I do what I want. But the actual part we are putting in is from the ignition coil right here to the distributor. So we'll go ahead and get this opened up a little bit. Gosh, this is really tight. Okay, cool. Push this on. Open just a little bit. Hopefully, oh, they want to stay, kind of. Let's do our best. This hose for the ignition coil is really small. We'll go ahead and hold this guy. Comparatively to the other hoses that we've worked with. Yeah, this one seems oddly small, thin, very thin. Let's try the tweezers and let me get this a little bit bigger so we can accept the ignition coil. Yeah, that's oddly thin. I don't want to go crazy here because I know this is really fragile since I busted it off and fixed it. Yeah, see, this even popped out. It's actually maybe a little better, easier for me now. I can actually try to work this a little bit more. Open this up. Doesn't want to stay on. Alright, I'm going to have to repair this and see. Maybe even find some different hose. Because it looks like, look at this one. Maybe I just used the wrong hose for this one. This is really thin. Let me take a look and see what I got. Okay, I kind of jerry-rigged something together a little bit. I found some leftover larger hose. I don't know if I was going to use that later on. Hopefully not. I just cut up a piece and fit this one over there. You could even see how tight of a fit that one is with the larger one. Took the smaller hose, stuck it in there. Now I've got a really long ignition coil cable. Whatever, I don't care. It's my model. Do what I want. And I had to re-glue it back on, that piece again. It is in the right orientation, so just had to get that set real quick. Get this installed. Man, that glue though, oh, so nice, saved my butt. Alright, let's just make sure it's at least set so it doesn't bust off. Super long ignition coil, whatever. You can see it there. Now I just need to make sure I can get this installed without ripping it off. Go ahead and reposition you so you can see what I'm doing here. Let a plug wire come out too right there. Alright, I got that plug wire installed. This is the super long ignition wire. I'm gonna hold that just to brace it, and it fell off. Darn. I'm gonna have to figure out another solution because it still wants to. The thicker wire doesn't want to bend. Try to go ahead and get this installed anyways. Right here. Got that installed. tacky, maybe. Still a little tacky. Can you guys see that? I don't really care if it looks kind of jank. I am going to re-glue it though, because then it'll give it a little bit more time to set. So, go ahead and get a dip of glue here. And it's actually, which is nice, melting it together. Ooh, that's a lot. Did not mean to put that much on there. Let me get a towel. Clean up that a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of hold this here while it kind of sets itself. Again, this is a really long line. I don't really care too much how long it is. People might be like, "What? Why is it so long?" Well, they manufactured the nubs on these a little too big on this one, and actually this other one that actually connects directly to the distributor is actually a perfect size for that one. So I don't know why this one was so thick on this end, and it's the right orientation. You know, I was double checking and kind of wondering if I had, you know, just broken off the stem that needed to be there, but no, actually, the way that it looks on the plug itself, it is the right orientation. So we'll give it a second, and I'll come back to you when I am totally secure with that. All right, and last but not least, while that dries, we actually take the windshield washer fluid line, get it over here, right there, insert this one a little bit easier on our side right here, and then this is going to get sat right here in the back, secured with a couple AM screws. I want to make sure it's in focus for you guys. Screw right here. All right. And with that, we are done with part number 46 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. Just as a quick reminder, what we worked on today, we got the battery assembled. You can see right here. We've got the fuse box installed. We've got a modified ignition coil right here, and with the washer fluid reservoir right there as well. It's got that all connected too as well. So this is a kind of interesting part. Got a nice parts that we were filling out in the engine bay. Really glad to see this one complete. Again, had to do a little bit of customization. Totally fine. I like it. Hopefully this stays here. Looks like the plastic is holding a little bit from now. We'll see. I might need to modify that a little bit more there. No problem. But in the meantime, let's take a look and see what the next part has in store for us. Looks like, we're getting to a pretty big part here. Looks like we've got the radiator and fan shroud too as well. So look forward to that. We'll see you guys in part number 47. Thanks very much. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Really do appreciate it. It really helps the channel grow. Also, like the video. That kind of stuff. Leave a comment if you have any questions, or like what you see too as well. Really helps the channel grow. So I appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys in the next one in part number 47. Bye for now.